And Nathan Bock is going to Matthew Pavlich. So weakens the forward half, but very strong down back.
Couple of firsts this evening. First time for the Dockers at Metricon, and the Suns still searching for their first home win. We're underway for this round 6 clash, and we'll go for another bounce.
Yeah, haven't won here. They did win their first home game up at the Gabba Q Clash 1, but it wasn't here at Metricon Stadium.
Griffin winning it nicely down to Mundy. So first clearance for the Dockers, and they're inside their forward 50. Pavlich, well, very sharp to give it over to Hill, caught on his wrong side. No one really home there for Fremantle. The ball stays in though, so it's still live. Main approaches. The handball from Tate missing Wilkinson. He went back again. Beautiful handball by Pearce to get it out to Ballantyne. Hill again. Caddy. Prestia, little quick give. That's quick reflex hands from the Suns. It goes to Bock, over to Shaw. Back to Isles. That's good work to get it over to Bock, who can go over the top, but decides to settle it down. That's 50 metres, because Zach Dawson did go over the mark.
Absolutely. Good use of the ball from Isles to hit up Nathan Bock, and just a bit of composure coming out of defensive 50, and that certainly helps with a 50-metre penalty.
So then short to Prestia, who's been busy early.
And as we said pre-game, if Fremantle do get their zone and will press set, they've got to be patient. Not like that, though.
Here's a chance. Ballantyne. That's poor handball. Warnock put Isles under some pressure. He was equal to the task. Back to Prestia. Has Smith on a lead. Presented well. Finds him. Day drops back into the hole.
That'll be a good contest. You spoke about Jonathan Griffin.
Yep.
Good young ruckman playing his 50th game tonight up against Zach Smith.
There's Day. Spectacular athlete, can jump. Drops it into the pocket. Searching for Hunt or Dixon. Pavlich covering some ground. Gone back to help out. Prestia with courage and skill.
They got the switch here.
Big switch on. Suns with loose men. Mackenzie spots Shaw, too far out you'd think for Matthew Shaw to kick the goal, so he drills it low towards Brown. Didn't give him much of a chance. You don't want it down at your ankles when you're on the fast lead.
No, absolutely not. He didn't give himself enough space off the mark, just tried to kick off for one step.
Through the middle they go.
We'll box the defensive sweeper here, so Fremantle just can't blaze away. Pearce
sees Mundy. Smith. That's outstanding tackle from a big man. Play on the call. Now, did Mundy get boot to ball?
Well, I think when he dropped it, it hit his boot. Yeah, so well done to Mundy.
Because umpire was in very good position.
I love the way the Gold Coast Suns.
Here we go. Good tackle, wrapped up.
Yeah,
good work from Mundy.
Just let him run, mate.
Here's Griffin again. Dockers trying to set things up. Barlow the man now. Over the top, not really advantaging Clark, and an easy one for Warnock to mark.
Yeah, it wasn't a good kick, but in saying that, it was good use of the body. Yeah.
Some hard running required here, and Bock is getting it from Prestia.
Well, they've started well with this spread from one side to the other. Has been good for the Suns.
And they're kicking so far, hitting the target, and this is Shaw, who spots Smith.
That. Oh no, it wasn't bad.
Good sport. Now McFarlane's in form. It was aimed for Lynch. Horsley. Kyle Horsley in his second game, now for his second possession. Only one man to kick to, that's Brown, who stopped and waited. Tried to get rid of Duffield, was successful, but ran out of room.
Gee, they've been impressive early, haven't they? But what I love is the way that they're setting up behind the ball. Yeah. Every time the Fremantle Dockers look up, they've got no one to kick to.
Absolutely, they're setting up defensive side, but that's where, if they run well, that'll be a real asset.
Barlow. Gee, he had it a long time. He had it an age, but they didn't affect the tackle, the Suns. Johnson's clearing kick. Brennan in best position. He's got some support. Should have gone wide with the first give. The second one to Smith. Now it eventually gets to Isles. 55 out. Into the pocket he goes. Griffin stands tall and should win a free kick.
And he earned the free kick as well from Campbell Brown. Crashed into the pack.
Good start this by the Suns. Yet there's no score on the board as yet for either team as Clark hooks it back cleverly now to Pavlich. Open forward 50. One-on-one, Lockie Neal. Not the tallest man to kick to. Tate the spoil, Main the crummer. Roll reversal from the Dockers. So boundary throw in. Chance here for Fremantle. Clark had lots of time to see Mundy straight in front of him. It comes back towards Clark. Broughton with strength, but he can't get anywhere.
Holding the ball, it's a legal disposal, you just let the ball go.
You heard Matthew Nichols with his explanation.
Yeah, well described. And again, as we've touched on, the Suns got big numbers back, but Fremantle have pushed numbers up to make sure it's one-on-one.
2-on-1 here, tough one for Lynch. The spoil came from Dawson. McFarlane at the back, Griffin at the front. All the three big men combining. Not a lot of small men around the ball because Lynch was there as well. Now they get involved. And now just push forward. It's just forced forward by weight of numbers for the Dockers. But they made a meal of it. On the back play, Day. Smith's got to be quick. He wasn't. He fumbled. McPhee. Smith goes again. Hunt. There's some good intensity from both sides when the ball hits the deck.
Oh, look, a really good contest at the moment. You know, just Zach Smith, you've got, at this level, you can ill afford to make those mistakes because you're running forward. It can pay the other way.
Dixon made good position, but then just lost his balance a little.
Oh.
Brennan. Bennell. Into the pocket. Well measured.
Good spoil.
Yep.
Good closing speed from Johnson to spoil on Zach Smith. And from Swallows' point of view, Shorey, as a midfielder and an up-and-coming star midfielder, are you happy when Crowley comes to you? Because it is a pat on the back.
Yeah, it is a pat on the back, but what you've got to do is just keep working hard. And again, go get the ball, get an easy one out the back, and also link up. It's hard to tag that.
Well, from that throw-in, the kick has gone to the square. It came from Caddy. Ibbotson, well, that didn't look like correct disposal, but here's Caddy again, dropped it. Smith, pinched by Robertson. He's dragged to the ground. Mazungu couldn't get it. Crowley did. Now Mazungu a second effort.
Great pressure here.
Johnson, McPhee, and numbers.
Well, they just spoiled each other there.
It was Tape and it was Warnock. They may have worked it out. Wilkinson, a mongrel. Hard one for everyone to mark. Caddy first back, just without it. On hands and knees, McPhee. Look at the tackling from the Suns. That time it was Brennan. Mazungu along the ground trying to keep it in play. Now De Boer at it. Clean take, down low. Barlow shares with Ballantyne, tries to draw Wilkinson, holding the ball. Presti has been everywhere.
Yeah, it has been.
That was good play by Wilkinson then, because he knew if he went to his man, the ball would have flicked over the top. And great chase, as in he knew his teammate was going to do the right thing by him.
Well, you said the intensity's right up. Certainly the Suns leading the tackles 13-5.
And there's a chance here if it sits for Brennan because he's got skill. One hand's enough for him. Day has McKenzie. The fumble at the crucial time. Couldn't get it back. Barlow. Again, the Suns still pressuring. They may end up with it here. Tackling is brilliant. Forcing the Dockers all the way back. And it's going to zoom back in here off the boot of Caddy. Goes one way, goes the other. Fancies himself from 45 to the top of the square. Crummer's needed. Brown went past it. Ibbotson is just going to kick it 3 or 4 metres towards Pearce. 3 Gold Coast Suns players waiting. Now Shaw, hands in the back, play on the call. Pearce. Russell, now to Ibbotson, again under pressure, a poor kick. Isles, got to beat 2. One of them is Pavlich, who appeals for a free kick and doesn't get it.
And this is exactly the start that the Suns needed. The intensity's right up. They're not giving Fremantle Dockers runners any time and space to carry the ball. So good start from both teams, but certainly the Suns will be very happy.
8.5 minutes of play, no score, but brilliant intensity. Still working hard. Now Clark, smothered. Suns refuse to give territory and refuse to let the Dockers have an easy kick. Paddled back to Brennan from Swallow. Gets it in return. Throws it on the boot, hoping someone's in front. Lynch got a call. Russell got boot to it. How will it bounce? There's a fingertip there from McPhee.
Well, he's gone to the centre of the goals.
Oh, that's, the umpire doesn't know. That was touched.
Let's go to the video. Boundary umpire said touched.
Now, the goal umpire was going to signal a goal.
No question.
As you go to the middle of the goals to signal goals, you stay in your position to give a point.
We just saw the boundary umpire say, in my view, the ball was touched. So we just wait
So
back.
we believe that it's touched, is that right? We're just making sure? Okay.
That's correct.
Let's just make sure we communicate.
No question it's touched. Well done, umpires. They've worked it out.
Absolutely, and that's what we want to see. That was clear.
Yeah, see, look at McPhee. Look at the body language. He's going to get the footy. He wants to kick it out.
Oh, no doubt it was touched.
Yeah.
We saw that. And well done to the boundary umpire. Good position there. The goal umpire, of course, he's front on. Doesn't see that touch.
First score of the day, or the evening, this twilight game. And, well, it's been frantic, to say the least, to get that first score.
I tell you what, Bluey McKenna will be taking, I don't know how long we've been playing, Matty, 10 minutes of the quarter, and this will be going in to the tape, and just watching this, the pressure is exactly what you have to do at league level.
From the throw-in, Mundy comes in to help out. Horsley over the top, solid tackle, got rid of Pearce. Crowley cut off by Bennell.
And still the Suns are happy to play the one player loose. I think Ballantyne's with young Wilkinson. Young Wilkinson's holding his stomach. I don't know what's happened there.
Keep an eye on that then, Lynchy, if you're not sure. It's up, but it's down, and there's a push, and it's going to Ballantyne. Hayden Ballantyne. Love him or hate him, he's exciting to watch.
Tell you what, I'd love to see him up on the halfback flank though, Matty, instead of round goals.
Yeah, that's a win from McKenna and his boys.
Reach.
That's a great stretch from Griffin.
Over
to Broughton, it's a beautiful kick. Hill doesn't have to break stride. It's outstanding footy from the Dockers. Hill kicks the goal. Doesn't get any better than that.
No, that's that transition football you really need. And Hill, we know he's got electrifying speed, and that's the concern. If you leave space between you and your direct opponent and the goal square, that's where Hill can really hurt you. So good work, good build-up from Freo. They've been under a lot of pressure. A lot of the ball was spent majority of the time in the Gold Coast Suns forward half. So good goal. They needed that one.
Well, Dion Prestia then, 7 possessions, boys, but you know you have to be 5 metres goal side of Stephen Hill every time.
Just Stephen Hill's second goal for the season, but what about the kick from Broughton?
Yeah.
As good as you can do, 60 metres, and he didn't break stride. Brennan trying to break through. Dockers by 5 points. Just their fourth inside 50 to score that goal. Ibbotson, good hands.
Yeah, good hands. Now they're lined up. They've got players here free. They should be able to run by hands.
Russell couldn't quite get to Mundy. His kick to Clark. Back through the middle, and he goes to the top of the square. Wilkinson missed it. Could be a crucial mistake because Ballantyne is lurking. Didn't need to be Ballantyne. It's Lachie Neale. If it's not one, it's the other. And the crowd might boo, but it was an error.
Again, letting the ball get over the back is a cardinal sin when you're defending. You've got to keep the ball in front with a defensive spoil. Good work from Neale. Prestia just allowed Ballantyne to get away as well, so there was 2 players on the goal line.
Well, just watch Matty Warnock. He allowed Zach Clark 5 metres over the back, and that's where they're going to get their space. So they know they've got to penetrate. They could have either one would have kicked the goal. But there, Wilkinson, you've got to make contact. Get the ball forward, get it out of the corridor. Just a couple of mistakes cost you.
Young Lachie Neale from Glenelg, South Australia. That's his first goal, the 18-year-old, his first goal in his 3rd game. And it should have been a free kick as well to Ballantyne. So 2 quick goals from the Dockers after absorbing an enormous amount of pressure from the Suns and not giving up a goal. So defensively they held firm. Broughton again. He hit Hill beautifully the first time. This time it's to Pavlich, who spots a man running into the open goal. Main kicks 3. It's a trifecta for the Dockers, and the game has changed.
Absolutely, the game's changed, and that's what we see. Probably more from the Gold Coast Suns more than anyone else. Their ability to stay in the game. They just allowed Fremantle to, on 3 occasions now, get forward of the ball. On that occasion, it was some nice work out of the clearance, and then an easy hit-up lead to Pavlich, and probably wasn't the greatest handball of all time, but it actually did the job. So goal to Main, and 3 very quick goals to the Fremantle Dockers.
In the blink of an eye, goals to Hill, goals to Main, and goals to Neale. Look at the score.
It's a shame because what happened, again, talking to Bluey before the game, Bluey McKenna, he just said those small things are the things that frustrate him. That's why he threw that bottle in the coach's box last week. They made 3 mistakes themselves, which cost them at least 2 of the goals.
And just been reactive rather than proactive to get back hard.
Dockers on the attack again. Pearce uses Mzungu, pulls the kick beautifully to Pavlich, dropped it. A lucky one for Bock. Isles has to be good here, has to hit his target. Duffield got rid of Brown, and that's out of bounds on the full. It'll be a Brown kick. Lee?
Ross Lyon at his strategic best, boys, playing his small forwards well up the ground and turning the Suns players back towards goal, creating space, and they're kicking goals with Hill.
That's a bad kick.
It's a shocking turnover from Brown. It's Neil involved again. And as Lee mentioned, it's an open forward line because their forwards are playing up, especially their small ones. It allows Maine to run into the hole.
Well, you've got to play the battle the way you did in the first 10 minutes. If they want to play up the ground, sag off them make them kick the ball to a player who leads up the corridor. Because they had a number back, they could stop that. Now they're getting up with them and too tight. They allow the space over behind.
Got to protect that space over the back.
Maine for his second in a row. Kicks into the man of the mark. It was a horrible run-up anyway. Not sure what he was doing there. Maybe just indecisive about whether he could get home from the distance. But anyway, he's going to get another chance. Didn't really get his hand to that. Good tackle by Crowley.
Suns have got 4 back in the defensive 50, just clogging up the space here, and they're about to get the ball.
And Shaw holding the ball from that Crowley tackle.
And that's why Freo have got to switch it across the ground, because no point just blazing away.
Well, now the Gold Coast, you don't want to come up too hard in lines and lines because that'll create that space over the back. Just force the issue with the kick. Like that, now you should have numbers here, you'd hope.
Maine couldn't take it. This is Dixon.
There's the
Horsley.
numbers there.
Yeah.
And so that was a win, Shorey, for absolutely. To bomb along 50 metres to where they're outnumbered, the Suns got a win at the moment.
Neal over the top. Brown. He's got a lot more experience than Lachie Neal. He did it well. Pressed here. It was in everything early. Lynch wrapped up by Johnson, trying to get rid of it. Might have given Johnson one on top of the head on the way through.
I think he gave him a couple accidental ones. And
I'm trying to hit the ball. I'm stuck at this bloke and head 3 times. The tackler said, "Can you ball it up? I don't want to hold the ball."
Pearce, his handball cut off by Dixon. She's almost a haymaker from Broughton.
No, either way, they've got to carry the ball.
Swallow. Now Smith's not sure where it is. Looked up, thought Swallow still had it. And in the end, now they can set up for the boundary throw-in.
It was just young players being rushed. I mean, Swallow had Mav Weller inside him, so probably the short hands then break the 50 and have a shot at goal. But yeah, just rushed, felt the pressure of Freo.
Griffin stood tall. Smith, beautiful reflex give. Over to Swallow. Well, he got it right that time, Lynchy. Don't worry about someone else. Just kick the goal.
Why wouldn't you? Nice bit of work from the 2 youngsters, Swallow and Zach Smith, out of the ruck. I think they did butcher the last opportunity, the last inside 50. And have a look from this centre, this throw-in. Zach Smith's pick-up and quick hands to Swallow. And you've got to have a bit of ability to drag that around the body as well. So second effort for the ruckman to get in. Bit of a fumble from McPhee, but nice finish. Good work from the Suns. They needed that one. Good reply after 3 quick goals to Freo.
Nice finish from Swallow. Lovely assist from Zach Smith, Lee.
Ryan Crowley absolutely filthy with Griffin and his teammates there. Missed the handball, and his opponent, direct opponent, David Swallow, ends up with it.
Yeah, McPhee just sort of took off before he had it. There's Hunt doing well to get it to Caddy, and the Suns win the clearance again. Can Hunt, Caddy find a target? He wanted Russell. McPhee, happy to see it over.
McPhee's predominantly been the loose man in defence. Plays that role pretty well for Freo over the years. And there's Stephen Hill been in the hands of the trainer and seems to be hobbled the left leg, probably.
Griffin again. Big, long, clearing kick. No one ahead of the ball here. Bock went down, wanted the free, didn't get it.
Good tackling.
Bock again.
Boundary line's your friend here.
You could argue that he's never really had possession of the footy, Bock. Just wonder whether when he gets up, he's going to have something to say. He's a bit tired. He's just jogging off. Ball up. Griffin and Dixon to do battle for the ruck. Spills to Isles, who just ducks the head and is thrown out of the contest by De Boer. Will go again.
Their fullback with the tackle count has Freo 14-18. Still in favour of the Suns, but the Suns got off to a flyer. Stephen Hill, important player for Freo. They wouldn't want him out of the game injured.
No, not with a couple of their bigger names missing, as you mentioned at the start of the broadcast. Free kick to Bennell. Harley Bennell made a request that pronunciation of his surname is Bennell, not Bennell.
As in fennel?
As in fennel. You do a bit of cooking, Master Chef, with yourself, Shorey?
No doubt. Mongolian lamb's my specialty.
You'd be a genius on the kitchen, wouldn't you?
Number 34 on the menu, is it? But it's Harley Bennell. Harley Bennell, not Bennell.
I knew we'd mess it up.
Here's Lynch. Trying to work it out with hands. Wilkinson and Caddy involved, and wonderful smile from Ballantyne. Gets up a bit slowly, Ballantyne. He's okay. He might get it back. Robertson threw it. Almost a second smother from Ballantyne. The clearing kick from Bock, only as far as McFarlane. He's a wonderful athlete. He gets free, gives it off to Dawson. On his wrong side, throws it up, hoping for a big man to be in the right spot. Spoil again from Bock. Smith needs that quick hands, and he gave it away okay.
Run it through here.
Bennell, Russell, got numbers, got Brown on his own. Now Brown can keep going, and his man is Day. Just has to pop it over the top. Well, he's missed him. Day's going to be tested. Basketball background, roped it in well. Oh, brilliant goal, Wiles. Slam and Sam.
Great build-up, great run, and then to identify a couple of players in Brown to kick it short to start with. Brownie's butchered this one, just put it a little bit wide, but we know this guy's a very good athlete in Day, but what about Sammy Isles? He's been a very good addition since coming up to the Suns, and that's probably his finest goal since he's been here.
Well, that's the offensive rebound that I thought they had last year, but again, trying to teach them defensive stuff that's gone out of the game. They need to do that to keep scoring pressure on the opposition.
As you can see on screen, just the 10 career goals. You're definitely right. That's his best.
That is his best. Very nice work. He's been a really good, mature age recruit for the club.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, 2 goals in a row, the Coast. Back to a 5-point margin. Steadied well, and they're away again. Long kick in from Brennan. Dixon caught. Johnson paddles towards the line. Dawson will take it over.
Oh, that's a throw.
He tried to just flick it back. And maybe it could come unstuck, yeah.
Well, that's an absolute win for the Suns, because normally when it wasn't a great kick to Dixon. It was too high, too long, but normally they get rebounded against too quick. But on that occasion, they've been able to create a stoppage and get a second opportunity.
Clark down in front. They roved it to him well because Swallow knew was going in that direction. Prestia with his 10th disposal. Discipline to the top of the square. How does it bounce for the Dockers? Duffield. Got a call out the back, Ibbotson. Mundy's running. Will he get it eventually? Now McPhee. Striding over the top to Mundy. De Boer's his next target, and he spots him. But he threads it back too far. Spoiled from Bock. Solid attack, and he saw it when he went down.
I think he's hurt his right ankle.
And he's in trouble.
Absolutely in trouble.
Just in front of your screen there, Bock on the 50-metre line calling for the trainer. Doesn't look good. Such an important player as the Suns rebound down towards Dixon. Ball out of bounds.
See the bottom of the screen, Nathan Bock. He knew straight away he was in a fair amount of trouble. Now, the trainers, medical staff are calling for the stretcher. So we're thinking this might not be good, actually. This might be very ordinary to look at. And I reckon it was his right shin. When he goes up here in this marking contest, his right shin gets hit.
Yep.
Or that's a compound fracture of the right leg. I hope I'm wrong, but that appeared there was a bit of movement in that right shin, the right tibia.
Yeah.
So not a knee injury, but that may be a nasty fracture of the right leg, and he's in a lot of pain, a lot of discomfort, as you'd expect.
And he knew straight away, didn't he? As soon as it happened.
The right leg here, and I think that's wrapped around the Freo opponent, and that's bent once again his right leg into his Dockers opponent here.
Matt De Boer.
That's moved far too much. Yeah. I think that's a big fracture. It's a nasty fracture.
Gee, it's amazing, isn't it? Like, just a great player to leave his opponent there, but he even knew in the mid-air, I think, that what had happened.
So there'll be a delay here while the medical staff go through their processes to make sure everything's okay with that right leg. But certainly from Nathan Bock's point of view, and they're missing their other leader in Gary Ablett.
He's so good, Nathan Bock. Late last year, they used him up forward. He was a really good forward, so you can play in a lot of positions.
He's very important to this team.
I think
especially in defensive. I think they had to keep him here for the next, the end of this season, and now it might be over in that way. But
I think, as you said, he's such a good player. The point I was making about the other end of the ground where they were getting rebounded against, that's why I think they were going into this season hoping he was going to better play forward and have a strong enough defence to stand up. And we see he's just there puffing on the little sucker there, and that's
some pain relief.
Pain relief just to get through this next few minutes until they can get him into the rooms. But yeah, it certainly looks like a nasty fracture of the
tell you what,
right shin.
You empty that thing that quick, you won't even believe it because the pain you're in. You just keep taking in straight away. You can see there, it's a little apparatus they give him to. Got a painkiller, and you take as much as you want. And when you maybe look like maybe a tibia or fibia problem.
Yeah, it looks like a tibia.
Let's have a look again.
This might look a bit nasty.
Just folded in, didn't it? You can see it from that angle. Yeah.
So the right shin again, halfway up the sock. This will move once he hits the body, and that flips back.
It's like it hit his hip, didn't it?
Yeah.
Like a hip bone, which is a strong bone. But you'd think the ball would have come off a bit worse for wear with maybe a cork in the hip. I haven't even looked at the ball. So, look, you hate to see this in AFL football. The one thing about the quarter, the first 5 clearances, Gold Coast won.
Yep.
The next 7, that's when they kicked 3 goals, Fremantle won. And then it was amazing. The last 5 clearances have gone to Fremantle again. This is a clearance game. We see Hawthorn's been, not playing up to their standards. And everybody said, why? It's about Buddy in this. They've been bolted in clearances. So
absolutely.
It's exactly how the trend of this game's gone in the first quarter.
So we should mention that Josh Toy was the substitute.
So this is terrible to see. I mean, you don't want to see this to any player whatsoever. And not having a good run, the Gold Coast Suns, but this is tragic news for Nathan Bock. I mean, it would suggest that'd be out for the remainder of the season, and devastating for a young group with such an experienced player who's been so good at helping develop these young players, essentially as an on-field coach.
So 3 of their senior players, effectively Ablett, Bock and Riscatelli, now out, not out there on the deck. So, OK, you can say that's a negative, but you've got to turn it around and say, right, this is a great opportunity for someone to stand up. Absolutely. And some of the younger players that have got 10, 20 games under their belt to take on a more senior role. So,
and we saw that last week in the form of Gary Ablett not being out there, and we thought North Melbourne was just going to belt this young team. But they performed really well. But, yeah, it's going to be a massive test. There's a lot of the reserves players. Michael Riscatelli up there as well. The young faces, they'll be...
that looks like a primary school photo, doesn't it?
A lot of young players that are obviously going to be called upon as a few of these senior guys go down. So it's shocking news.
The other thing too, Blue McKenna's coaching survival is on the line in a way. There's been rumours going around. You've got 3 senior players. It looks like Ablett be out for another maybe 2 to 3 weeks. Riscatelli, we don't know how long, and it looks like Bock for a long period of time.
Lee Colvin will be talking to Michael Riscatelli at half-time.
Well, hopefully we can find out, because, it all goes about them not playing to the level they should. They need support, these youngsters.
They do.
The coach cannot be blamed for what's happened with the injury,
Absolutely. No, it's about their development over the next couple of years. It's not about wins and losses, and certainly that is a negative as far as developing kids, having one of your guns out.
4 minutes remaining in the quarter. Now the Suns got the momentum back. How will this remainder of the quarter go? Can they step it up again after a fairly lengthy break? The Bock getting off. There's a bit of push and shove here. Ballantyne's involved in push and shove. I find it hard to believe.
Yeah, what's going on with that?
So, a really big test. They've got to get to the break competitive now, the Suns. Emotionally, they'd be drained after seeing one of their senior and gun players go down with that injury.
The handball from Horsley was too good for Caddy. He just didn't see it coming. Hill to Ibbotson. Pressure from the sub in Toy. Got rid of Crowley. They've won it back here. Russell's kick, top of the square, a little bit too far. Brought to ground. Brown went without the footy. That should be in the back, and it is.
Campbell Brown, he wanted to make contact instead of just grabbing the ball in your hand and trying to crumb the ball. Just take a bit of the urgency off the attack on the ball.
Johnson's kick out to Crowley, but he hasn't got anyone to kick to further downfield. He's got to wait.
Well, there does. You're right, Shorey. There does appear to be a lot of intensity and attack at the opponent. I mean, that attack just at the ball would be great.
Yeah, well, he had the opportunity to pick the ball up and kick the goal. He wanted contact, then wanted to get to the ball.
McPhee with some time and space now. Mzungu is a little bit shorter than Lynch, and he's got a good stretch. Dixon should have turned around. He might have got him. And instead, he goes to Day.
Now, he can't blaze away because the extra players are deep. So Pavlich is at the top of the goal square by himself.
Well, it's got to be good. You knew this was going to be blocked off.
It's a low percentage kick, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nearly needed a handball from a wraparound player to get close to the 50-metre arc so he could carry across Griffin and Pavlich.
Well, the other thing too, you look up and you say you want players to get in that position to compete, but they had to run about 50 metres to get to the drop of the ball. Maybe be patient, come backwards once and then come forward, try and draw the defence out.
Not really polished by the Dockers at the moment, coming out of their defensive 50 though, but that's a beautiful kick from McFarlane to Johnson.
Two big ruckmen, two loping giraffes out there on the wing.
And just ignored by Johnson.
He just shook him off.
No, he said none of that.
Here they go. They've got the +1 on the wing now.
And it's coming this way. It's Pearce. Back inboard to Clark. Long ball. Shaw in best position for the Suns. Over the back it goes. De Boer. Can he get it to Mundy? He wanted to. Mundy's there. Beaten by Prestia.
He's done well.
He's had a fine first quarter, and Lynch has got a bit of room to move here. Down the line he goes. Percentage kick. Russell. Bennell's just come on.
Oh, he's taken that.
Well, that is at the right place at the right time, Bennell.
That was, I'm sure Luke Russell won't get a stat for that. Might even get a fumble on the stat sheet, but it ended up perfect.
If you're going to fumble at the interchange when you're coming off.
Absolutely. But a good work from the Suns because, again, Fremantle got over the back. That's nice work. Sure, you've got to give him a handball.
We won't see that again this season. That's amazing.
So I reckon Rossi Lyon wouldn't be happy with some of the clearances, how the Gold Coast are getting 2 to 3 players goal side of their opponents too. So a bit lazy play from the contest by Freo.
Minute remaining in this first quarter. Beautiful work from Hunt. Bennell just on the ground. Holy, well done. Suns hit the front.
Carmichael, Hunt. We're talking about clearances. I just said Rossi Lyon wouldn't be happy. This is too easy. But look at it. I love the leap. He's got a lateral movement, which the power from those rugby days shows that he can get sideways and no player can go with him. So that was a great clearance. See how he's come off the back of the pack. Now,
Matty, I think we've got a fan here. I think Shorey's just jumped on the K train.
Is he on Facebook at the moment? Is he on your Twitter?
No. Rossi Lyon would be filthy how they set up there.
It's a very talented player, Harley Bennell. Kicks his ninth goal for the season, and another great assist, this time from Hunt. We've seen it from Smith.
Fantastic work from Carmichael Hunt. Really good clearance.
And he just kicks. Hayden Ballantyne got rid of the K-man, and he's back at it. Taken down by Broughton. Suns in trouble. Ballantyne, another tackle. Wilkinson. Hunt. Third effort. Scooped it out to Russell. Did enough. They're going back here, though, the Gold Coast.
Well, they want to go in at quarter time up. They haven't won a first quarter this season.
Shaw to Horsley. Isles in front. Out of bounds.
But been very competitive and been tested by Freo. Their tackling pressure really picked up in the second half of this first term. Certainly a very good start from the Suns, but they're finishing off this last 4 minutes since the Nathan Bock injury really well.
Ball over the back. Russell. Weller. They're running the gauntlet here, and it might not pay off for the Suns. Shaw. Great smother. That's the third one from Ballantyne. Neal. Pavlich. Off a step. Return smother from Lynch. Siren sounds. Before we take a break, Lee, you've got some information on Hill.
Yeah, he's been off for most of that quarter and got his left hamstring strapped, so I'll keep an eye on him. Get back to you at the break.
Thanks, Colby. Generous applause from this crowd here at Metricon Stadium. As Alistair mentioned, the Suns have failed to win a first quarter for the season up until today. 3-1-19, 3 straight goals. Terrific first quarter. We'll take a break.